Welcome back to Sharpen Your Sword Podcast, episode 39, Winning the World Championship. Guys, I'm glad to have you guys back on this episode. Today, we are going to talk about winning the World Championship, okay? And that is different for everybody, all right? That is different for everyone. The championship is different to each person that you speak to, okay? And I'm not talking about becoming a jiu-jitsu world champion, an MMA world champion, a football world champion, basketball. I'm talking about you as an individual becoming a champion of your life, winning the world championship, winning this life, okay, and achieving what you want. And I'm here with the number one co-host in the world, Giovanni Jimenez.
Hey.
And we are going to dive deep into winning the championship, guys. And I'm going to tell you exactly how we got here. The other day, I was thinking about sharpening your sword. I was thinking about some big projects I'm working on, some big moves. And I have these questions that come into my mind. I have these doubts that sometimes that pop in my mind. And I have a conversation. I have a day-to-day conversation with myself. Every single day I talk to myself. And I was driving and it came up in my head. It just popped up in my head and I said, this is what I'm going to shoot a podcast on this week, okay? And it was, Mo, are you going to win the world champion? Are you going to win the world championship? Okay? And if you asked me this 10 years ago, it was yes, I'm going to win the world championship in MMA. I'm going to become an MMA world champion. Okay? If you ask me this today, it's a different world championship that I'm striving to win, to achieve, to conquer. Okay? And that's what we are going to go in today. And I'm going to start off by talking about where I started, okay? And how I wanted to become an MMA world championship and how it changed over the years to where I am now and believing to sharpen my sword every day to win my true championship. Gio, you ready to get after it?
I'm excited to talk about this, bro, because I think everybody always praises world champions and they see the glamour of the world championship. Like last week was the Super Bowl. And then everybody debating about who's the best world champion of all time. Oh, this morning I saw people were debating about who's a greater fighter, Khabib or John Jones. Right? And then you talk about it, it's like, bro, all these people debating about who's greater. Man, how about you focus all the energy to yourself, see how great you can be.
Yep, I agree with you.
So I'm excited to talk about the world championship in your life.
I agree. And that's something that we talked about at the beginning, right? Before we started this podcast, me and Gio were making some small talk. And I told him, I said, I believe this is going to be very powerful because of this. And the biggest thing I would say is the whole world, okay? I'm not caught up with football, basketball, and all this stuff. But the majority of the world is caught up with some form of championship. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? People fight each other over this. People spend thousands of dollars on things like this. They spend their savings on this. They invite everybody over to their house to watch people win the championship. Okay? And for me, life goes beyond entertainment. Life goes beyond just watching somebody. Okay? Instead of just watching these people win the championship and watching these athletes live out their dreams, the big question is, are you working toward the world championship? Which is the world championship to you as an individual, Gio, maybe to achieve the goals that you had, your personal goals for yourself, for your family, for your community, for your country, Mexico, right? The things that we've talked about. That's winning the world championship. Okay, at a big level. That's what the world championship is. That you came to this earth, you were put on this earth, okay? And while you have this time on earth, you made it count and you achieved what you want. And if you do this, you are a world champion.
Amen.
Okay? So you became a champion at life. You made your life count. You didn't just go and lose and lose and lose and lose and complain about why you're not achieving your goals. And you never became the champion. You never get to fulfill the championship level. You never got to fulfill all these things. Okay? So instead of watching, what is his name? Luka Doncic. What is his name? Some basketball player?
Yeah,
Luka. Some guy named Luka. I don't know who this guy is, but the whole world went crazy about how they switched him off of this team and they switched him off of that team, right? So why you care about Luka? You're just watching the dude. Dude's living his dream. How come you're not switching your teammates out? How come you're not building your dream team?
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? You have to build your dream team. You have to build a team that's going to help you win your championship. Who's going to help you win the Super Bowl? I had a business mentor a few years ago, and she said, you want people on the team, on your team in business and life that's going to help you win your Super Bowl. And it never left my head. I was in San Francisco when I heard that. Okay, I was in California when I heard it, and I never forgot it. I was super young. This was probably 5 years ago. Okay, it's 24 years old, and I heard that. And I was like, man, that's true. And so I never forgot that. And everybody that's around me, I try to handpick. Right, they're part of the dream team. I'm trying to bring the dream team together, because the more people that I can move and replace and put on my dream team, that's gonna get me closer to my goals to win the championship.
Yeah. That reminds me about like fantasy football, right? Where people put all these players, and they create this team, right? And they put all these different players to their team, and then depending on their progress, they win ultimately, right? Whoever has the best performances. So it's like a group of people. They create this fantasy team.
Yeah,
it's called fantasy football, fantasy baseball, whatever. But people don't really look at their life like that. Like, wait a minute, is who am I choosing as a spouse correct for me? Like, am I going beyond just the looks?
Yeah.
Am I going just beyond like feelings? Are they a right fit for me? I mean, what about my friendships? Do they benefit me, or are they just friends that associate yourself because they're my homeboys from high school or college, or whatever the case may be? You know, people will play fantasy football to win the imaginary Super Bowl, but they won't do it to win their own Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. But I think a lot of that is because they probably don't even think they can win the Super Bowl, or maybe that idea of them winning in life is long gone.
Yeah, and we talked about that the last podcast, episode 38, correct? A lot of people don't believe in it. Okay, but I'm gonna read the text that I received this morning. Okay, since we're talking about the dream team and the team that you need to win. Okay, and this person texted me early this morning and told me, hey, coach, the numbers are in, and tell me about his progress over the last 5-6 weeks, and thanked me and all that. And I said, hey, man, I'm proud of you, man, but sharpening the sword isn't easy, is what I told him. Okay, guys, if you know me, I'm obsessed with sharpening the sword. I talk about it everywhere. Okay, it doesn't matter where I'm at. I'm in my text message. I'm putting the swords. I'm talking with people in person about sharpening the sword and them sharpening the sword. And I told him, I said, sharpening the sword isn't easy, and you decided to do it every day. Okay, and this was his reply. It sure is easier with positive people pushing you in your corner. Okay, and that just resonated even more with today's podcast. It takes more people. It takes a team to get you to pursue something greater. It takes a team to get you to achieve something. Okay, and the team helps make it easier, and it helps you get one step closer to whatever your dreams are. All right, so that's what today's podcast is about. It's about winning the world champion. Okay, guys, and so I'm gonna take it back many years, back in my youngin' days. Okay, I'm kind of a very spiritual guy. Okay, I think there's always like I believe in callings, right? And my early dream. What was my early dream? Ever since I was a kid, I liked fighting. Okay, since as young as I can remember, I was always fighting. I was always hitting somebody. I was always getting hit, right? We're punching in the street, fighting here, fighting on the playground. It's always been something that I remember. And I've always watched the Bruce Lee, Karate Kid, all these movies that I think if you're a martial artist, you have to watch, right? Bruce Lee, the Karate Kid, Kickboxer, Bloodsport, Lionheart, all the Rocky movies, you know, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Chuck Norris also, you know, it was cool watching him walk, Texas Ranger fighting. And so ever since I was young, 5, 6, 7 years old, as young as I can remember, I wanted to become a fighter. That's what I wanted. I wanted to fight. That's all I wanted to do was fight. Okay? And as I got older and older, it stuck with me. Doesn't matter. I mean, I wasn't doing it in the best way, right? Sometimes in the street, sometimes at school, sometimes in different places. But it just stuck with me. Is I wanted to fight. And as I got older, I started trying to make this a reality. Okay? And every time I came away from it, I felt like there was something missing in my heart. I felt like there was something missing in me. That I have to keep gravitating toward fighting. For something kept pulling me back toward fighting. Mm-hmm. And at 18 years old, I decided that this is what I'm gonna do. This is when I had a little bit of capability. I had a little bit of say-so. And this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to become a fighter. I talked to my coach at the time, and I started working to become a MMA world champion. That was my goal, and nothing was going to stop me, okay? We started training right away for it. He told me he's gonna make it happen. I believed it was gonna happen. And everything I did from the second I woke up to the second I slept, was obsessed over becoming a world champion. Mm-hmm. I would train, I would run, I would eat clean, I would work out, I would watch technique and watch videos all day and study it all day. And everything that was in my mind was about MMA, world champion. That was it. There was nothing else. If we didn't talk about becoming an MMA world champion, or you weren't my training partner, or you didn't help me work out, or you weren't around me. That was my team back then. Mm-hmm. Okay? And so I was head set on it. And I started fighting. And I kept fighting, and I kept fighting. Injuries, broken leg, broken this, broken that. Nothing stopped. Doesn't matter what it took, I was gonna keep training to become a world champion.
Yeah.
But as time started happening, the injuries, doubt starts creeping in. All this stuff is like, nope, you're gonna become a world champion, bro. There's nothing that's gonna stop you. This is your dream. This is what you're gonna do. Back then, I thought that was my world champion. Mm-hmm. Okay? And then life takes a big turn. And it was a realization. It was a point of realization that maybe this is not for me no more. I had to take a different route, which is open my academy. I didn't have nowhere to train, okay? And I had to open my business, which is my academy. Mm-hmm. And I still tried to, even when I opened it, I still tried to become a champion. I kept fighting. I still fought a few more times.
Yeah.
But didn't matter what happened. Now my direction changed, and it kept pulling me into the academy, pulling me into becoming a coach. Focus on being a coach, Mo. Focus on being a coach. For some reason, the gravity, the calling changed. It wasn't be selfish and win a world champion for yourself, MMA world champion.
Yeah.
Okay. And it hurts for me to say it, but now I am happy that this calling is better. I believe this is the true calling, right? Because I don't think I would achieve my big goals if I didn't change directions, and I didn't change my team. And when I say my team, I don't mean my coach. My jiu-jitsu coach, my professor is still my professor from day one. I don't leave my professor.
Yeah.
Right? I don't believe in that, me personally. He's my professor from day one. I will be with him until the last day. Okay? I don't mean that team. I mean the people that were around me. Okay? The people around me, I changed. They fell off. They got kicked off the team. Mm-hmm. Okay? And the more people I kicked off the team, the more I realized that they were holding me back. And the more I realized that they were not a benefit to my dream, to my world champion.
Yeah.
Which is at this point is when I realized the world championship for me in life was to help people become better. For me to be the best entrepreneur, best businessman, best community leader, best husband, best father, brother, whatever it is. To be the best Coach Mo there is, be a champion and become the best Coach Mo, and become a champion and being the best Muhammad Ahmoud. So from a business perspective, Coach Mo, as a coach, as a mentor, I need to be a world champion in that. And for me, in my personal life, not my business life, but as Muhammad Ahmoud, as me, I need to become a world champion in that.
Yeah, to be the sharpest sword you can be.
To be the sharpest sword I possibly can be. That is what becoming the world champion is now. Mm-hmm. And this is where I figured this out, the sharpen your sword. Is when I started, the MMA kind of faded out, of world champion MMA, faded out, and I realized that I had to sharpen my swords physically and mentally daily. This is what's going to help me win my world championship, which is, again, the business part, and my personal life. To be the best person that I possibly can be, and not to just be a loser on this earth. Okay? And to win my world championship, which is my goals. With the time that I'm here on earth, I will achieve my goals. And if I do, God willing, inshallah, if I do, I will become a world champion. And now that's my goal as a world champion. And that's crazy how things, when I look back, and this is like, again, this is a few days ago in the car, I was just driving, popped up in my head, like, bro, you went from becoming an MMA world champion, trying to become an MMA world champion, to truly coming out on the other side of it and trying to become a world champion in life by achieving your goals and by helping people achieve their goals.
Yeah.
And this is what I think the true world championship of this life is. Okay? Because if you go back to episode 24 of Pursuing Your Dream, we talk about what's the purpose of pursuing your dream.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just a player on this earth that doesn't get no game time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're just a player on this earth that just rides the bench. You don't get no play time.
Yeah. You know, there's actually a term, I forgot to tell you about this. It's called your NPC. It's called your non-playable character. So like in a video game, the important characters, you can play them, right? And a character that is unimportant, that is just a number, he's a non-playable character, right? So that's a term that now is used as a grading term online.
Yeah.
That when you're just like basically nobody and you're not doing anything with your life, you're an NPC. You're a non-playable character. You're just like another character roaming in the game that really has no effect in the world.
And that's what a lot of people are. And again, here, I say this every few podcasts when we start going in, right?
Yeah.
You're an NPC at the end of the day. Don't take it as disrespect. But for Sharpen Your Sword, guys, and for me, there is no playing around with my goals. There is no, I'm going to see what happens, right? I'm not going to be an NPC in this life. I'm not going to be a guy that rides a bench and waits for play time, for my court time, for my ball time, right? No, I'm going to play in this earth. I'm going to be a player, right? And I don't mean player in a negative term. I'm going to play the game. This whole thing is a game. I'm going to get my play time. I'm going to be varsity. I'm going to be first string, whatever you call it. I'm going to be, what do they call the main team in the NBA? The starters? The starters. I'm going to be the starter in my life. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be sitting on the bench waiting for this to happen. And I'm not going to just watch Luka and all these guys in the Super Bowl and basketball play their game and I don't get to play my game, right? This is why a lot of people don't get to live a true happy life all the way and truly be happy. We talked about this the other day, and I talked about somebody, I went to breakfast with somebody yesterday and I was talking to them about this. Is a lot of people are upset about these things. Why? You don't really want playtime. You didn't want to be the starter of your game.
Upset about what?
Of achieving your goals.
Oh.
Or being happy in life. Like you got young guys, especially the younger generation, is they're complaining about why things don't go their way or why they don't have the things that they want. I'm here to tell you guys, okay? Thank God for everything. But I went from nothing to having things. And you can do it too. Mm-hmm. Right? But most people are not willing to do the work. Most people are not willing to go to practice every day. Most people are not willing to do 2 days of practice a day. Mm-hmm. And again, guys, this is not sports that I'm talking about. 2 days of practice. I'm talking about, are you willing to work in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, in the nighttime on your goals to win your championship? Are you willing to sharpen your swords in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, in the nighttime to achieve your goals? Are you willing to practice all day to achieve your goals, to win your world championship? Are you willing to practice 7 days a week to win your world championship? Are you willing to practice on Valentine's Day? Are you willing to train on Valentine's Day? Are you willing to train on Christmas, on Thanksgiving, on Easter, on 4th of July, on President's Day? On any holiday, are you willing to go to practice? I am.
Yeah.
Most people are not willing to do that. So I'm going to tell you, you're not going to become a world champion. Because at the end of the day, I believe to be a true man, okay, this is just me. To be a true man, you have to fulfill certain duties. Mm. You have to fulfill certain goals. You can't just go by life and just be an NPC, a non-playable character. You can't just go by life and be a JV husband, a JV brother, a JV business leader, a business owner, a coach. Be second, third string. Don't be a starting player in the game. Right? It's your duty to achieve certain things.
Yeah.
Not to just be somebody that walks the earth that we talked on the last episode. Right? A blank character that just walks the earth. All right? That's the whole point of winning the world championship. Mm-hmm. What is it that you're willing to do to win that world championship?
Yeah. So, obviously, what are you willing to do, right? But first, it's like, does everybody have their own championship, right? Because it goes back to, like, some people don't even realize that. They don't even realize that they're in the game, right? They're in the game of life. And they don't realize that they can set themselves up for victory. So, what's the first step to achieving your championship?
I think the first thing is the realization. Is realizing what is the most important championship in your life. That's the first thing. Realizing what the most important championship in your life. I was young. Since I was a kid, as young as I can remember, as young as my parents would tell me as a kid, I was always fighting. I was always getting in trouble. Yeah. Right? And it wasn't like we were starting fights. We just didn't live in the best area, and we just didn't take crap from nobody. That's the way we were taught. Mm-hmm. Is you always stand your ground, you don't let nobody disrespect you, and you stand up for what's right. That's it. At all costs, it didn't matter. I still believe that. Right now, I have to have it a little tame because I'm a business owner. I'm a coach. I can't just fight everybody over everything. Yeah. Okay? But my initial world champion, again, since I was young, I was hot-blooded, I was energized, it was to become a world champion. That wasn't my realization, though. My realization came later on. When I realized what my true championship was. How do I become a world champion? What is it? What's the world championship look like to me? And I realized this later on. So number one is figuring out what is your world championship. Coming to realization, what is your world championship? That's number one. So you give me examples of what your world championship looked like.
For me, like one example being a world championship, one world championship for me, it's achieving black belt in jiu-jitsu, right? That is a big deal. That is a big show of consistency, of endurance, of discipline. So to me, that is, for example, one world championship. Another one is, can I be the best coach I can be? Can I build up kids? Can I not just show them skills, but actually build them up and have them have self-confidence? That is like career-wise. But like personally, like I want to be a big baller, Chevy Impala, you know? So I want to have, monetary-wise, I want to be very successful. Have millions of dollars.
So that's just a few examples, okay? But when it comes down to that, okay, you gave me two things. It's the business and personal, okay? And at the end of the day, they intertwine. Mm-hmm. To me, they intertwine. Thank God, again, you and I get to do what we like, right? It's coach. Be jiu-jitsu coaches. I'm a jiu-jitsu black belt. I got to achieve, thank God for everything. I got to achieve that. Yeah. You're on your journey to achieve that, right? So we get to do what we love in our occupation, our job. I don't like to call it a job. I don't look at it as a job. Mm-hmm. But they're both intertwined because they're going to help you achieve the same goals. Some people are doing something, going through the motions, and it's not helping them. I'm working whatever desk job it is, where I'm doing something just because I have to get by. Okay? Now, everybody has different situations. Everybody has different circumstances. But the extreme side of Mo, mm-hmm. right, the sharpen your sword part, is like, hey, bro, you don't pick the circumstances. You don't get to choose for me. This is ever since I was young. You don't get to choose the circumstances for me. I choose my own circumstances. I get to choose the work I do. I get to choose the job that I do. I get to choose what I want to do. Now, not everybody gets to do this. Yeah. Why? Because not everybody's willing to take the risk. Not everybody's willing to put in the time, right? One thing that my dad told me, and I took it to heart since I was a young kid. Don't work for a single soul. Don't work for a single person. Now, I wasn't gonna do it anyway because my mind is wired a certain way. I like to work hard. I like to work nonstop. I like to work aggressive, right? So for me personally, it's hard for me to work with people, right? If I was to sit on a desk 9 to 5 or work a 9 to 5 job, it's hard for me, right? But I don't let the game choose for me.
Yeah.
The circumstances. I'm playing the cards that I want. I'm playing the circumstances that I want. I'm setting the circumstances I want. So if you want to do that, you have to be willing to practice 7 days a week. You have to be willing to practice more than once a day. You have to be willing to go to practice on holidays. Okay? For you to start this journey of winning the world championship for your personal life, your career life, your business life, your entrepreneur life.
Yeah.
Okay? So this is winning the world championship, guys. So this is something that you have to realize that this is within yourself. This is inside of you. This is not my outside, me trying to fit in with the people around me trying to impress people.
Yeah.
I need to find the world championship that's inside of me. What is it for me? What does it mean to me? What does this world title mean to me? What is it? What does the world title consist of? Personal, business. Okay, I already told you some as Coach Mo, right? And I told you some as Muhammad, right? It's two different people, right? It's one person at the end of the day, but one is business, one is personal. So for me to become a world champion, I need to achieve my business goals. For me to become a world champion, I need to achieve my personal goals. And I'm the starting player in that game. You know what I mean? I'm not watching somebody play their game. All right? That's number one. And this all comes down to sharpening your sword. Because this is not possible if you don't do this.
Yeah.
Okay? So number one is realizing what's your world championship? What does that consist of? Make the list. We gave everybody a New Year's goals list, right? That asked for it. Are you still following that? Are you sticking to that process? Right? Have you figured out what exactly do you want? And this is, again, episode 24 is uncovering the BS and realizing what your true goals are.
Yeah. All right. So people, they do some deep dive into themselves. They do some soul searching. They find out what they want to be in life and what the Super Bowl, their own personal championship, being the world championship means to them. Now, how do they set themselves up to win? Not just to play, but to set themselves up to win.
You set yourself up to win. Again, we're going back to, it always goes back to sharpening your sword. I just said it a couple minutes ago, right? It's sharpening yourself physically and mentally, which is your practice. Let's just say practice, right? We're talking about Super Bowls and whatnot, world championship as an athlete, but this one is the athlete of life, right? You are the athlete playing in the game of life. Not necessarily a game of football or basketball, but you're the athlete playing in the game of life. And so you set yourself up by going to practice every day. I will tell you right now, most men, we're not talking about boys, because boys don't go to practice every day.
Yeah.
They're not willing to endure the pain. They're not willing to endure the sacrifice, endure the suck, the hardships. They're not willing to endure it. But even some men are not willing to practice every day, are not willing to do it every day. Okay? Go into practice by sharpening your sword physically and mentally on a daily basis. This is how you start setting yourself up for winning the championship. Okay? Is what do you do on a daily basis that's going to get you closer to winning that game, to winning the Super Bowl, to winning your world championship?
So number one is show up every single day.
You have to show up on a daily basis. Because every day that passes is one less day on earth. Right? We don't get extra days. We're here for a set time. So every day that passes that you don't do work, you don't make progress, you lose one day of work that will get you closer to your world championship.
So what happens to a human being that they show up every single day without excuses?
The person that shows up every day without excuses, they're getting one day closer to what they want. They're getting one day closer to winning their world championship. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, they talk about it all the time. Read the book Relentless by Tim Grover, guys. These guys' practice was unbelievable. Kobe Bryant once practiced. He had a practice. He was practicing. His practice finished. He didn't tell nobody this. His practice finished. Another player from the opposite team came into practice, right?
You down with this?
Okay? Came into practice. Kobe Bryant didn't quit his practice there. He kept practicing until the other player left. Later on, he asked him, he said, man, how long was your practice? He said, my practice ended when you came in. But I kept going to show you that you're not going to outwork me.
Dang. And so...
That's the Mamba mentality.
That's crazy. And so what's the transformation that a person goes through when they decide to show up every single day for themselves? You know, they go from being a regular bloke to they show up every single day.
I've said this to 2 or 3 people this week, right? And I was using jiu-jitsu as the example, the main example. And I said, look, man, it doesn't matter how hard things are. As a man, right, to become a hard man, like a strong guy, a strong man, like a true man, right, you have to do hard things. And this is stuff that you feel when you see somebody, like energy you feel from a guy. And the more energy you feel from this guy, just know that he did the work. Mm-hmm. This is the first thing that people need to know, right? But I told this person, the more hard things that you do, so if you show up every day, that's hard, just showing up. Okay, and again, this is what I told the person this morning. I'm going to read it again. Is sharpening your sword isn't easy and you decide to do it every day. I didn't say sometimes. You were deciding to do it every day.
Yeah.
This is going to make you better, okay? The more you do hard things on a daily basis, jiu-jitsu, workout, the more I do hard things, the closer I get to becoming the best version of myself. So if you're showing up every day, you're getting closer to becoming the optimal athlete, the most optimal athlete, the best version of Gio as an athlete to win your championship. You're getting there closer every single day, and every single day that you do hard things. Mm-hmm. You're becoming the best version of yourself. So the closer you can get to becoming the best version of yourself, through sharpening your sword, through showing up every day, through sharpening the sword every day, you are becoming the most optimal athlete that's going to help you win the world championship of your life.
Yeah.
That's what showing up every day is. Because you cannot win a championship. These guys can't win the championship, the Super Bowl, if they're not the optimal, most elite athletes on the team. Physically, mentally, right? Physically through physical conditioning, strength and conditioning. Physically through eating good, because eating good disrupts your whole system. How you think, how you feel, how much energy you have. Your mindset, sharpening the mindset. All these guys have mindset coaches. They have mindset talks. They studying to build the mindset up.
Yeah.
They do this to become the best. I don't know who played in the Super Bowl, honestly, but whoever the player is on that team, to become the best that he possibly can be for that day to win that Super Bowl. So you have to become the best version of yourself to win your world champion.
So you say that number 3 is building your mindset.
Building the mindset.
All right. And how do you push that mindset? Like what is same way how you can build your muscles, how do you build your mind?
You build muscles, right? One way to build muscles is go to failure. Is you just rep, push to failure. And then the muscle growth happens, right? Mm-hmm. The mind is the same way. Okay? Do I push my mind to the point where I'm comfortable and I stop? Or do I push my mind beyond comfort into the uncomfortable to test my mind and let my mind talk to me? One way that I know that I'm working hard, for me personally, is my mind starts talking back to me. It starts saying, bro, chill. Stop, relax, sleep in. Get a couple more extra hours of sleep. Or why not do that tomorrow? Or, hey, bro, you're killing yourself. You're stressed out for what? You know what I'm saying? Somebody told me the other day, it was my dad actually. He said, Mo, you need to chill, right? He told me, he's like, you need to chill. Like stress and pressure and all this is not good. And to a certain extent, I get it. And my reply was this. Did I achieve my goal? He knows one of my big goals. Did I achieve my goal? No. Stress, pressure, uncomfortableness, this does not bother me. This does not bother me. I can withstand this. I'm willing to withstand it. To become a world champion. I know what my end goal is. I know what I want to win. So there's nothing that's going to stop me from achieving that. Okay? So for me, when my mind starts telling me this, when I get all this stress, when I get all this pressure, it's me pushing the capacity of my mind. We talked about the balloon over and over again. I can blow the balloon here and stop. And the balloon has no, like the balloon, you can see like stretch marks on it, right? Like it's in a pop. If I don't see the stretch marks on the balloon, I didn't push it enough.
Yeah.
I'm pushing the balloon. I want to see how far it can go. And when I start pushing it, you can see it start stretching. The stress on the latex, right? That it's stretching and it wants to blow up. I'm getting to that point. I'm pushing myself mentally and physically to that point. I hate working out. I hate working out in the morning more than anything.
Yeah.
But it stresses me out. It puts stress on my body mentally and physically to get up and work out. But I do it anyway because it's hardening my body. It's hardening my mind. And so the more I can push my mind, the more things that I can do hard for my mind that get me uncomfortable, that's where my mind gets sharper. That's where this sword becomes sharper. Most people are not willing to do that. Most boys, most young guys, okay, I don't like to talk about older guys. They've done their time, whatever it is. But really for the young generation is this, because they have time to achieve their goals, is most people are not willing to endure the pain.
Yeah. So what is an example of you expanding the balloon, putting pressure in work? You know, we know how you can do it physically, right? But how can you do that mentally in your job?
Okay, in my job, okay, we talked about this a few episodes ago, is if I'm in a sales job, you're at $22,000 for the month, for example. I'm trying to get $23,000 for the month, $24,000 for the month. I hit $25,000 this month. I'm gonna hit $26,000 next month. You did 20 calls. I'm gonna do 25 calls. Or I did 20 calls. Forget fighting you. Let me fight my own self. I did 25 calls this month. Or today.
Yeah.
I did 25 calls today. I'm gonna do 35 calls. I showed up at 9 a.m. on the dot. I'm gonna show up at 8:30 on the dot. I'm gonna have everything prepared for the next day. I'm gonna beat the quotas. I'm not gonna just meet the quotas. I'm not gonna just do what I need to get by. Most people, somebody told me the other day, like, why do I work so hard in my job? Why am I overdoing? Why am I overstraining in my job? Okay, and this is people, guys. Again, no disrespect. Thank God I get to work for myself, right?
Yeah.
And you, honestly, you're pretty much working for yourself. He told me, why do I have to overstrain myself in my job? I can just do the bare minimum. Okay? Now, I get it. Maybe you don't have bonuses. Maybe you don't have anything else. I get that. So I'm not going to argue with you on that. But you better best believe if there was bonuses involved, if there was compensation involved, there ain't no meeting the quota just to get by. So if you have a position where you can excel and you can push boundaries and you can push levels and you can elevate yourself in your career, then you need to do more work because you need to become the best in your position. I'm not trying to get by. I'm not trying to do the bare minimum. If I'm in sales, okay, let's use you. I'm gonna put you on the spot. How much studying of sales do you do daily?
I just study on the weekend.
You just study on a weekend. You're not pushing yourself hard enough.
I'm busy working in that mode.
Wake up an hour early. I tell my brothers this, not just you. I tell everybody. I tell myself this.
That's true.
Wake up 30 minutes early. Are you willing to expand your mind to that point? Because guess what? 30 minutes early, to wake up 30 minutes earlier just to study sales is not easy. That alone is a damn battle. That alone is a battle.
Yeah.
Are you willing to do it? Guess what? You may not be to. Just example, you may not be able to, but guess what? Your competitor, they're waking up 30 minutes early to do it. Mm-hmm. Are you studying 30 minutes of coaching? You do Muay Thai. Are you studying 30 minutes of Muay Thai? Let's not say daily. The days that you coach, are you studying 30 days of Muay Thai? 30 minutes of Muay Thai?
This all happens on the weekend.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, this is just some examples that you realize, and there's this opportunity for me to push my mind even more.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
You can always do more. You're not, where you're at is not enough.
It's not enough. You know, I always say this thing is I'm grateful, but I'm not satisfied. I'm not satisfied. I can do more. I know I can do more. I was coaching somebody this morning. I had a private lesson this morning. And they said, Coach, you know what I realized after training on so-and-so day? I realized that I can do it, and I realized that I had more. And I told them, I said, every time you peak, every time you go through a wall, you're going to realize that you have more. You don't realize that until you hit that wall and break through it. When you break through that wall, you're going to realize that you have more. When you start waking up 30 minutes early to study sales, and your sales percentage, your closing percentage goes up, like, damn, this actually pays off. I can do more. You start doing it an hour a day, your percentage goes up 5%. Yeah. You start doing it daily, your percentage goes up 20%, 25%, 15%. And you're gonna be like, man, this is what it takes to make more money. This is what it takes to close more deals. Just doing this much more work, it's hard as hell to wake up an hour early and study sales at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. Mm-hmm. But if I can do this and I get this, imagine if I do it 7 days a week. Imagine if I do it on Christmas before I go to my family's dinner. Because, you know, Christmas, you're getting up. This is just an example. You're getting up. All you're thinking about is family and gifts and this and that, right?
Yeah.
Well, let me get up 30 minutes early. I'm going to study before we go. Or let me put a podcast in the car and study on the way there. My wife, she's going to be okay. If she believes in my dream, she's going to be okay for me listening to sales podcasts.
Yeah. What if she start complaining that you always putting on the Sharp Your Sword podcast?
She's going to like the Sharp Your Sword podcast. But this is just an example, right? But when I don't want to say wife, right? But is she part of the dream team if she is against that? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's another big one. She may not be part of the dream team if she's not down, if you're not obsessed. Now I'm talking about extreme levels, guys. Like I'm not. This is not for everyone.
Yeah.
This podcast is to help everyone, but that doesn't mean you should apply everything. For everyone should apply everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because then you may be in a fight, right? Because if you're full of it, if you're trying to be extreme and you're not doing it all the time and you're not consistent, it's not gonna pay off. You know what I'm saying? But if you're trying to be the elite, if you're really trying to win the world championship, you're not trying to win the local game. You win the local game, you do some hard training, you do some hard work, you can win. And maybe your wife or your husband puts up with it. Mm-hmm. You win the state level, you have to practice 4 days a week, twice a day. They may put up with it. You may win the national championship. You have to work out. You have to work 5 days a week, twice a day. Mm-hmm. They may put up with it. Some people, not everybody. The number that I see in this is getting smaller and smaller for the people willing to put up with this.
Yeah.
Okay? This is what I'm noticing. But to win the world champion, it's 7 days a week, 366. It's 8 days a week, 26 hours a day, 366 days a year. You know what I mean? It's more than the average calendar year.
Yeah.
Right? Are they willing to put up with it? Now that's working hard. This is the extreme level of working hard. This is not just doing the 30 minutes a day or 5 days a week or 3 days a week, 2 days a week because you coach Muay Thai twice a week, right?
Yeah.
Not just studying it twice a week, but every day. Not sales. You do sales 4 days a week. Not studying 4 days a week, 7 days a week. Okay? So that's one way that you push yourself mentally because you're going to be exhausted. Okay? Now, some people are going to say, Coach or Mo or Muhammad, whatever it is, you should rest. Rest is good.
What do you say to rest?
You can rest. I will rest when I'm sitting on my porch drinking my coffee, looking at the mountains. That's when I rest. Me. That's my world championship. I can retire as an athlete at that point.
Yeah.
I can retire at that point. All athletes retire, right? That's my retirement.
Yeah. Once it's like when the teams win the championship, then they go to Disneyland.
Yeah.
But they only go after they won it.
Yep. After they did the hard work.
Yeah. So powerful. Just talk to summarize that. That was your goals. Second was show up every day. Third was your mindset, right? And how do you expand your mindset is how do you make your mindset grow is you push the boundaries. Means you keep going. And from what I understand is like you said, like obviously at first you can't just go ham, right? Like you said, start off 30 minutes, then an hour, and then it becomes an everyday thing, right? So you started like with lifting weights, right? You're not gonna start benching 225 immediately.
Yeah.
You're gonna start off maybe with some.
Why are we talking about benching, bro?
Well, just for example, right?
You know, I have flashbacks from bench press.
But you start off small, but you keep incrementally pushing. And this will callous the mind. All right. So the person, they got their goals. They're showing up every day. And showing up every day that's just like to give you a chance, right? That's not even guaranteeing anything. That's just like step number one.
You know what the crazy thing is? You know what? We've talked about this. That's step number one. I don't mean to cut you off.
Let me step number two.
Step two. The crazy thing is, there's no guaranteed in life. There's nothing guaranteed. That's the thing that you also have to realize. But, this is my big but. Am I gonna be upset? Of course I'm gonna be a little upset, I'll be honest with you. But if I don't get to sit on my wraparound porch, looking at the mountains with the elk going across, right? Bugling. The sunrise, sunset, whatever it is. Okay, the sunrise really is what I picture. If I don't get to achieve that, okay, I'm gonna achieve it. God willing, I'm gonna do it. But if I don't, but I get to 50, 60, 70 years old, maybe I'm sitting on the beach. My vacation, I'm on the beach. Maybe, right? But I know that I did everything. That I tried. I truly tried. And I gave every ounce. And I played the game every day. Like a starter. Okay? Like the Mamba mentality, the Michael Jordan, right? I did it every day. I know that deep down inside, I truly gave it everything. This is the most important thing for me. I think what's going to eat me is if I'm not a black belt or given black belt intention or black belt practice or trying like a black belt to achieve that thing. If I do it like a white belt, I'm going to be upset. I'm going to be angry. I'm always going to have a bitter taste. I'm going to always be upset.
Yeah.
But if I do it like a black belt and I try like a black belt daily, literally, truly every day to my fullest extent, then I did everything I can. I won't die too bitter.
Yeah. Powerful. It is the thing, you know, trying hard, that just gets you in the door. That doesn't guarantee you anything. All right. So you expand your mind. What's another thing that people have to do to set themselves up to win?
Do you want to go into the dream team again now, or you want to wait on that?
We talk about the dream. That was one of the things. One of the things that I researched that sets you up to win. It's the people that surround you.
I want to go ahead and talk about the dream team, okay? Because when I was younger, I had a team. They weren't the dream team, okay? I believe now in my point of life, the point I'm at now, the dream team is coming together. It's starting to come together. It's not formed yet. When it's formed, you better watch out, right?
Yeah.
But it's coming together. You're part of my dream team. I don't know if I ever told you that, but here I am telling you that.
Yeah.
You're part of my dream team right now. Okay? So the dream team, the starting players, are who's going to help you win. Michael Jordan once, he had a team. It was an unbelievable team. I don't know who all the players were.
Yeah.
But I remember people talking about it, and I looked into Michael Jordan. I studied Michael Jordan because he is the great, right? I studied him and his team. And that's when he had those players. I don't know the players. I'm not a basketball fan. When he had those players, they were untouchable.
Yeah.
Untouchable. People already knew that they were coming to lose. They didn't come to win. That's the power of the dream team. Okay? So a lot of people have people around them. And it's funny because we talked about this. We've been on the episode. I forgot what episode it was. But it was cutting people out, right?
Yeah.
The dream team are what makes or breaks your world champion. The Super Bowl, who won the Super Bowl?
It was the Philadelphia Eagles.
The Eagles. If those players weren't on that team, the Eagles will not win that. The Eagles won that because the players that were playing on that team, on the team this year. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't win it if those players weren't there. That's how important the dream team is. Okay? The dream team is going to decide, because this is something that I also realized. Okay? I still struggle with this, but I can't do it alone. I can't do it alone. Mm-hmm. I can get pretty far. I'm willing to take it pretty far. But at the end of the day, I still need a team to achieve.
Yeah.
The world champion.
You know, there's a saying that says, when you go alone, you go faster. When you go with people, you go farther.
It's a powerful quote, you know? And that quote's never left my mind, honestly. I can progress pretty fast alone. Thank God I did. But now that I have you on my team, we can go a lot further. I know we can, right? So your dream team, the people that you surround yourself with, the people that you go to practice with, the people that you play with, the people that you talk to, that you train with, these are the people that are going to make your world championship, help you make the world championship. These are the people. So if I have, let's just say, how many players are on the football team?
Man, I don't know. I know there's over 40.
How much are on the field?
I don't know.
Okay, there's 5 in basketball, correct?
Yeah.
If I have 5 players, let's just keep it small. 5 players on my dream team. Okay? One is automatically going to be my spouse. This is one, automatically. Mm-hmm. This is the number 1 spot. Right here. Okay? I don't have one yet, but I know that this is the number 1 spot. This is what I've learned the last few years. This is the number 1 player. No, everybody else is after. But number 1 is your spouse. Okay? This is going to help you in unbelievable amounts. From all the guys that I've talked to, most of the guys I hang out with are married. Okay? And this is what we talk about a lot. And they give me this advice. Okay? Your spouse is going to be the number 1. Because you told me, for example, and now I have to also be mindful, but you said, what if she don't let me watch the Sharpening Store, listen to the Sharpening Store podcast wherever I go? Mm-hmm. Okay, there's, of course, Sharpening Store podcast is the number 1 podcast, right? So I'm always going to listen to this podcast. But if she has a problem with me doing this is just an example, guys. Don't take it to the extreme. And complaining and whining and blah, 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 all the day, all the time. Maybe she's not the best one on my team. Because ahead of the game, ahead of all this, she knows what I want. And it's not just for me, it's for us, right? So if she's already having an issue with this, maybe she's not the one for my dream team.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that I personally look for. This one I can figure out pretty quick. You're not on my dream team. Because for me to win the world championship for us, for my team to win, because for me, win the world championship is not just for me. There's certain players that are involved in this that have to win with me. Mm-hmm. Right? This is the way I look at it. This is not for me. If you don't understand this part, it's an X. You're not part of the dream team. Okay? So this is just automatically one player that you're looking for. That's in with you all the way to the end.
Yeah.
Okay? But the other example that I'm gonna give about the dream team is, say I have 5 people on the dream team. I already gave you one. This is the most important one.
Yeah, the spouse.
The spouse. This is the most important one that you're going to have. Because this is the person that you have to see 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year for the rest of your life. This is the most important one. But I have 4 other players remaining for the team. The starting team. We're starters. I don't want no bench players or NPCs, non-playable characters.
Yeah.
Okay, I learned a new term. Each one better pull their slack. Each one is going to help me. If I have one that's not starting the game with me, I have to replace this one. I have to put somebody else on my team that's willing to get me closer to the world championship. Me personally, I'm willing to do this.
You're going to have to make a trade.
You're going to have to trade. They traded Luka, right? I don't know who they traded him to, but it's an example. Everybody's going crazy over this guy for some reason, trading and whatnot. But they traded Luka, right? This person is going to get traded to a different team. He ain't going to be on my team, or she ain't going to be on my team. Okay? And you're going to have to keep doing this in your life until you find that. And this, for me, has changed so many times. Okay? These 4 have changed so many times. Okay? And are you willing to trade? This is the big one. Are you willing to trade players?
I think that's the biggest thing people suffer. Like you said, it's as human beings, like we suffer from, we struggle to detach ourselves. So how important is it to learn to detach?
Well, as we've talked about this early on. Detachment is one of the hardest things you can do as humans, right? We have feelings, you like each other, blah, 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 all the cute stuff. And it's hard. We're humans. We're not freaking crazy animals.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're humans. We have feelings. We have thoughts. We have emotions, right? But winning the world championship is extreme. Becoming the best champion is extreme. Personally, right? Career, business-wise, is extreme. So at the end of the day, you have to do what you have to do. It sucks. It hurts. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Right? But so many people can't do this one thing. I'll give you an example. I have an example for myself, but you, right? Let's just use you as an example. We knew a mutual person early on. You're going to know who it is. Right? And I told you, like, this guy's no benefit. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
Early on, I told you, this guy's no benefit to you. And I didn't put pressure on you. I just told you. I didn't talk to you daily. Eventually, you realized that later on, and you disconnected. But this person was not on your team. He was on your team, but he wasn't pulling his weight. He wasn't going to practice with you. He wasn't trying to get you to go to practice. He wasn't practicing with you. He wasn't training with you. He was just there. But you had to get past the emotion and the feeling of detachment first to get past it and put another player on your team. Most people can't do this.
Yeah.
Because this is extremely hard. Especially when you get to know somebody. Okay? But this is one of the most important things. Especially young folks, right? They have all these people around them. Right? They have all these people around them. They hang out with all these people. It doesn't matter like if it's mine or I'm not telling you to go sit in a closet and isolate. I'm not telling you guys. Don't take it to that extreme. But I'm not going out 2, 3, 4 times a week just to go to a party, to go to this event, to go to this and that, just so I can see some people. The people that I'm willing to see are the people that are going to help me win the world championship. Me. I'm not just trying to socialize. If I'm socializing to win the world champion.
There's intention behind your
There's
actions.
intention. But for me to go hang out with some young folks, just to sit around, crack jokes, talk crap, and I don't get no benefit out of it, I'm not gonna do it. And I don't have these people around me anymore. Me personally, this is all cleared out.
Yeah.
Okay? So most people are around all these people and realize why they're not growing, why they're not becoming better, why they're not getting closer to their goals, to their dreams. Okay? They're not willing to risk removing them from the team because feeling lonely, feeling sad, feeling mad, feeling bad, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. They're not willing to risk it to put somebody else on the team to grow, to get to where they want to go. You know? So who you are, who you hang out with is who you are. Who you hang out with is who will help you achieve your dreams. I told you that yesterday, somebody called me, right? One of my friends. And when they call me, it's not BS. When they text me, it's not BS. Mm-hmm. Now, these are all older guys, thank God, right? It's not BS. It's all tips. They're always tips. Helping me. Okay? I haven't had a young guy text me this, right? Is the other day, I'm glad to call you my friend. You're creating greatness. Mm-hmm. This is a message I got the other day. You don't hear that from young guys. I've never heard it from a young guy in my whole life. And I know a lot of people. I've heard it from a bigger, older person, more successful person. They gave me tips and they told me that. That's a player on my team.
Yeah.
That's a player on my team. Everybody needs a little push like that. Everybody needs a little bit of encouragement like that. Okay? So do you have people on your team that are doing that for you? Or do you have people that are on your team that are NPCs?
Yeah. That drain your energy.
That just drain your energy. They're not pushing you. They're not supporting you. They're not getting you to practice, to train.
Yeah.
You know? What would you say about the dream team?
Well, I think it's very true, you know, having cut people off and realizing the benefit of not having those relationships, you know. I think it's also sometimes a lot of people also think about who do I have on my team? I think you also have to think about who do I not have on my team, which is like I don't have like a drug addict on my team. That's good, right? It's also good to think about it that way too. It's
that's powerful what you just said.
It's like that, right? And I think
who I do not have on my team. That's a good way to look at it.
Right? And then that also help you weed out people. But I think especially about like young people in this society, we're not necessarily traditional, so everybody has like girlfriends, and they're not waiting till marriage to have a relationship, right? And I think you have to be careful with who you choose, especially because a lot of these women, I'm talking as a guy, a lot of these women can fall for the trap of like, they want to live the lavish Instagram life. So they'll push you to live that life, right? So you will be, all this energy you'll be invested into trying to keep her happy when all that energy can go into building your future. Mm-hmm. Or it can also go as like I saw this one young lady the other day on social media. She was complaining. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I would not want to be around somebody like that. Imagine you come home, right? You're already wore out from the day, right? And you come home and you got to deal with somebody else's emotions, like either they have an attitude or they're draining you. You're like, bro, what the fudge? Now, granted, obviously, unless you're going to put in work. But if that person just has a cloud over their head.
Why do you work so much, Gio? Why do you got to work 7 days a week?
Right? It's like, bro, like.
Why you always listen to Sharpen Your Sword podcast? Can we not listen to some music? Some love music?
Some Taylor Swift, man. And that would be horrific, right? She don't understand the dream. She doesn't see the dream. And she got to go, unfortunately. But I think a lot of people was like, I saw this image. It was like you hold on to a rope and it's being pulled on. Like holding on hurts you more than when you let go. When you let go, all that tension was gone. Now you're free.
Yeah.
When you're holding on, you're trapped. I think about that. It's obviously around your friends. I learned it. I had to go through it. As they tell you, careful who you hang around. You know, it's easy to say, well, I got good people, till you really can open up your eyes. But I think especially like your relationships, I've met a lot of young men whose girlfriends are like their biggest downfall. The girlfriends are not assets. And obviously, you shouldn't look, it sounds bad to look like, oh, is this person an asset? But at the end of the day, you do got to look, is this person an asset to me?
Or a liability.
Or a liability, you know? And I think a lot of people let their emotions do not let them see the red flags. Mm-hmm. So I think you got to detach yourself and see if this person is the right fit for you.
I agree. That's very powerful. And that makes me think about, you were talking about letting go of people and all this, right? I think we can attach that to sacrifice. I like to attach it to sacrifice and willing to take the risk, willing to make the leap. Because sometimes in life, it's just taking the leap, taking the risk, okay? Most people, and most is a big number, right? Most people, again, guys, I'm talking on the extreme level, the world champion level, right? I'm not talking about, and there's nothing against this. Everybody has their own levels that they want to achieve. Some people just want to win the state championship. Some people just want to win the local game. That's fine. And no judging. That's you. That's fine. I'm talking about winning in life to the extreme, to the max. Mm-hmm. To know that you went to the grave knowing when you lay on your deathbed, I lay on the deathbed. You remember what I told you about the Gio years ago? When I lay on the deathbed, what?
You want a list of regrets to be as small as possible.
I want the list of regrets. I'm surprised you didn't forget it. When I'm laying on my deathbed, I want the list of regrets to be as small as possible. I don't want this list of regrets to be huge when I'm laying on my deathbed. I want it to be as small as possible. That's for me winning the world champion. For me to achieve what Muhammad Mahmoud is supposed to do, what Coach Mo is supposed to do, what Mo is supposed to do, right? To achieve it at the black belt level, at the world champion level. And so for this to happen, you have to be willing to sacrifice people, things, time, holidays, okay? You have to be willing to sacrifice a lot of these things, okay? My friend, again, I keep talking about my friends, but my friend told me, he said, people have to understand that when they want something, they have to sacrifice it. What are you willing to sacrifice? When you go to train jiu-jitsu, and this was the example that they gave. If you were going to train jiu-jitsu, 1 hour of training jiu-jitsu, are you willing to sacrifice 1 hour of being with your lady for 1 hour of jiu-jitsu? Or are you gonna sacrifice the hour of training to be with your lady? There's a sacrifice. Everything you do, everything that you do, you have to sacrifice something. I want to lose 10 pounds. Am I willing to sacrifice sugars, sweets, sodas, my caramel latte coffees, right?
Yeah.
Am I willing to sacrifice that to lose 10 pounds? I'll do it for a period of time. And I'm doing it for this tournament that we have. But guess what? After the tournament, baby, I'm going to get my caramel latte.
Yeah.
I'm going to get my iced coffee. You know what I mean? So most people are not willing to sacrifice because sacrifice is extremely hard. To become a champion, you have to sacrifice. Kobe Bryant talks about it, the Mamba mentality, right? Why do they call it the Mamba mentality? The mindset was a completely different animal. Michael Jordan, right? All of these guys talked about sacrificing time with their friends and their family. Okay? The big one is family. The big one is family, right? And for me, this is the number one thing. Is sacrificing time for the family. Now I have opportunity to do it. So I'm going to take advantage of it. My friend told me this in the back room the other day. I opened the gym early and he came to the back and sat and talked with me. And he said, the greats, the ones that want to be great, one of the biggest things is sacrificing time with the family. They're willing to do it. To achieve something great, phenomenal. Okay? Are you willing to sacrifice in this life to achieve what you want? What are you willing to sacrifice? And are you willing to take that risk? Because these go hand in hand. Are you willing to take that risk of me losing this player on my team, removing this player on my team, to hopefully get a better one?
Yeah.
I'm going to sacrifice this player on my team. I'm going to take this risk of sacrificing this player on my team to hopefully get a better one.
Yeah.
You need to do your research. You need to do your studying. You need to make the right decision. Most people are not willing to play this risk, to figure out what they want. Now, I'm willing to take risk. I'm willing to sacrifice. Now it bites me in my butt sometimes.
Yeah.
It gets me. I'll be honest. It gets me, right? But I'm willing to sacrifice. I'm willing to take the risk to see if it'll get me closer. And if, guess what? If it didn't get me closer, so be it. I'll move on. Go play the game again. Go move on. Study. Get better. Sacrifice. Again. Take risk again. That's what this life is about.
Yeah.
But if you never make the leap, if you never sacrifice things, then you'll never get closer to that world champion.
100%. And not risking means you have a fear of failure. And I noticed in my jiu-jitsu tournaments, obviously every move comes with risk. Every thing that you do or you don't do has risk. But especially executing a move, there's risks. And I noticed my biggest downfall in tournaments was I did not take risks. I was afraid. I was like, damn, if I go for this move and I fail, I'm going to be exhausted. I might be on bottom and that will lead to me losing.
Yep.
But if I never take the risk, I never set myself up to win. And I still end up losing. So I noticed when I was able to force myself to take risks, I saw more success. And I think that goes along with life. And today I heard a quote about Miyamoto Musashi, right? He was saying about the importance of doing hard things. And he was like, when you do something that's so hard, right? And you learn the way, you realize that way is the same way in everything in life. And, like, damn, that's true. Because like victory in jiu-jitsu can be, you can reflect it into how to win in business. Mm-hmm. And vice versa. Everything, once you learn the way, it can be applied to everything else. Yeah.
And that's the way of sharpening the sword, baby. You know what I'm saying? The way of sharpening your sword. Once you make this your lifestyle, guys, okay? You make it part of your life, all right? You make it part of your life, the way of sharpening your sword. Because before anything, this is an internal battle that you have to win. This is an internal game that you have to win. There's an internal championship that you have to win. But if you go through the process of sharpening your sword physically and mentally on a daily basis, and you apply this in everything you do, because it is applicable in everything you do, you will get closer to winning the world championship. Okay? And the world championship, guys, again, this is the goals on episode 24, episode 38, right? Winning the world championship is way more important than you think. Because that's where the fulfillment is. Okay? And that's where you can ride off into the sunset and enjoy the rest of your time. Knowing that when you get to your deathbed, that the list of regrets is very small. Because the less that you achieve that you want, okay? Whatever it is that you want, the less of that list that you achieve, the list of regret is bigger. The more that you achieve of what you want, the list is smaller. Okay? And that's our goal as Sharpen Your Sword, guys, as myself and Gio, is to help you realize that. We want you to realize that. We want you to start the road to the world championship, winning the world championship, right? I want you to get to the point of realization. Okay? I had the point of realization a few years ago. I want you to have the point of realization. I think Gio had a point of realization a year or 2 years ago. I don't know when his was, right? Yeah. But I want you to realize the point of realization. Like, what am I going to do? What's going to happen? Am I willing to sacrifice? Am I willing to take the risk? Am I willing to do my practice every day, to put in the work every day, to push myself mentally and physically every day? After I realize the realization of what I want in this life. Okay? And men, it's your duties. As a man, it's your duty, okay? I like to talk about being a strong man and all that. It is your duty to lead that for your family, for your community, for your country, for everything as a whole. Because this is the other thing, guys, that you have to realize. That when or if you have kids, who are they going to look to first? This is my biggest nightmare. One of my biggest nightmares. Who are they going to look to first?
It better be me.
They should look at you first. But if you haven't gone on this journey of sharpening your sword, of becoming better, they're going to look left and right. They're going to look for something. They're lost. But if they look at their dad and like that, my dad is sharp. He has a sharp sword, jiu-jitsu black belt, entrepreneur black belt. He went after life. He chased life. He chased the win. Okay? That's my role model. You're a guide to them. You're their guide. You're their manual, their instruction book.
Yeah.
They're gonna follow your lead. They're gonna follow your path first. So this is way deeper than what people think of. Hey, I want $1 million. You say you want millions of dollars. Just say $1 million. I want $1 million. This is way deeper than $1 million. Achieving the $1 million is great. The journey of achieving the $1 million is greater.
Powerful.
You know what I mean? The journey itself. I like jiu-jitsu for me was a journey. And I look back at it every day. The journey of achieving my black belt is arguably greater than my black belt. Now that hurts for me to say because my black belt is great. My jiu-jitsu black belt under my professor from day one, Jonathan Border, right? That black belt is one of the most important things I have. But the journey of achieving that black belt is greater because that journey is what made me greater. Because of that journey, I am better. So you want $1 million? The $1 million, you achieve it good, you be happy, you forget about it. But what it took to get the $1 million, the journey, the setting up on the street corner, selling shoes, okay? Waking up at 6 a.m. to train jiu-jitsu, to sharpen your tools as a coach, to train Muay Thai and spar, right? First, you didn't like sparring, but you kept going. That process of sharpening the sword, of throwing it in the fire, pulling it out and hitting it and sharpening it and throwing it back in the fire, that process, right? That's what makes you greater. That journey is what is going to make you greater. The journey of winning the world championship, not necessarily the world championship, but the journey of winning the world championship is what's going to make you greater.
Powerful.
And people have to realize that. You have to go on the journey of becoming the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. And if you can do that, I believe you're a world champion. You know? And this is the daily grind, the daily process, every single day. That's the most important thing. I think that's where people will truly feel fulfilled and happy for themselves, for their family, for their kids, for the community, for the country, for everything. And now, when we get more people doing this, now we can create a greater cause, a greater country, a greater world. We can do greater things.
I agree. I think you got to live by the motto, sharpen your sword every single day. And you'll be able to set yourself up to win the world championship, which is your life.
That's it. You know? And that's where we're going to start wrapping up, guys. I believe you can become a world champion. I hope that you believe you can become a world champion. And you have to go on the daily grind, day in and day out. Once you realize what that world championship means for you, it's a different meaning for everybody. That goal is different for everybody. But you have to find what you want. You have to get to that point of realization of what you want, okay? And you have to be willing to sharpen your sword on a daily basis, physically, mentally, to win the internal battle, to sharpen yourself to get better, to get closer to what you want. And then you have to get that dream team. You have to get your team together, the starting players. You don't want people that don't play. You don't want the people that ride the bench warmers, right? You want people that start with you, the 5 guys, the 5 ladies, whoever it is that start with you, they're going to help you get to your goal. Don't surround yourself with people that are not going to help you get to your goal. Don't surround yourself with negative people. Surround yourself with positive people, okay? Surround yourself with black belts. Surround yourself with people that are willing to do the work, all right? And that will get you closer to winning your world championship, okay? So let us know what you guys think of this. The world championship is worth everything. The journey is worth even more. And I hope you enjoyed episode 39 of Sharpen Your Sword podcast. Like always, sharpen your sword every single day, guys, so you can become better for yourself, for your family, for your community, and for your country. And I will see you on the next episode of Sharpen Your Sword. Peace out.